have no idea how dangerous you are.
Let go of my children.
Oh, yes. Your children.
Vision.
I know what you are.
It's okay, baby.
This whole little life you've made. This is chaos magic, Wanda. You're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation. And that makes you the Scarlet Witch.
Welcome back, everyone, to Tully Television, and today we're going to be doing the series finale of Wandavision, episode 9. Wandavision. We got Jordan back, and thank you for bearing through the technical difficulties on my end with the Wandavision episode 7.
That was his boner.
That was my boner. Episode 8 is coming soon for the review. Give me a few more days on that. But thank you all for stopping by.
If love you as always.
Yes. Hit that subscribe button down below. Like,
there may
comment,
be a giveaway
share.
for a Boston Market gift card worth well over $3.
Well over $3
You don't want to miss
value.
this.
You don't want to miss this. Boston Market, man. Some of the best chicken around.
Anyway.
But yeah, oh my
WandaVision.
God. WandaVision episode 9, the end, the finale. Some theories didn't come true. Some things people didn't even think about.
Yeah. I definitely,
There's going to be some disappointment, but even though some of my theories didn't come true, or some of my ideas didn't come true, I liked how it ended. I liked the action, the computer effects on the host, the series, and this final battle between her and Agatha was insane. The Vision battle was insane, and I guess I should kind of say spoilers ahead because we're probably going to be.
This is a spoiler review.
Yeah, we're going to town today on this.
Sponsored by Bud Light.
It kind of, not really, but yes.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like a lot of people's theories, they're gonna be disappointed by the fact that their theories didn't come true. But overall, like, it was fun theorizing along the way, and then like what we got was exceeded my expectations actually, and it did wrap most everything up in a good bow for being like a 45-minute episode.
It did.
And they had a lot of plot lines that they had to resolve. So,
they did have to resolve.
But there are
some
still some questions, of course. And
we have those 2 end credit scenes, which we're gonna touch on in a few. But we kind of kick off with the duel between Agatha and Scarlet Witch in the streets.
She's not Scarlet Witch just yet. She's still Wanda.
Spoiler. Wanda and Agatha going to town to each other on the street. Not in the good way. She tells the kids to take off. We get a little bit more exposition on why Agatha is what she's trying to do. She's trying to convince Wanda to hand over her power by showing her that she's hurting the people of Westview. And you see the group of Westview approaching Wanda at some point.
After she kind of like
woke them up,
right?
And then woke them up.
They're just expressing like what they felt towards her. They're like they empathize with her because they know that like just like how Monica said about how like I felt her pain, like it was grief or whatever.
Yeah.
And like all the people felt that, and they were expressing it to her at once. Like they were like both angry. They're angry at her for doing what she did, but they also understood and just wanted her to leave.
Yeah, because at this point it's official. Wanda did all of this in her grief, and even though she didn't take the Vision's body, even though Haywood was being jackass throughout the series, the underlying thing was that when Wanda is emotional and she's not kept in check, she's done things that she wasn't even trying to do.
Chaos magic.
So imagine her trying to do these things and to even be told that she's more powerful than
The Sorcerer Supreme.
And that book is the Darkhold, or Darkhold.
It's confirmed.
It's confirmed. In the comics, it's a book written by Chthon, the producer of Chaos Magic, and before he was outcast back to his dimension, he wrote his black magic on
something like that.
Yeah, invincible paper or human flesh or something.
Yeah, invincible paper that was made out of human flesh, I believe.
To make it impossible that it's always going to be in existence. We kind of learned that maybe the Scarlet Witch is like more of a mantle than an actual name that you would just give yourself. We also pick up with Monica and
Pietro.
And here's where one of my disappointing subplots didn't break true, and he's Ralph.
It's confirmed that he's Ralph.
It's confirmed
he's Ralph that Agatha was talking about all along.
He's
her husband, but he was just
an actor.
Some dude who was under her spell.
And his last name is Boner. And
his name was Ralph Boner.
And for any growing pains out there, the best friend of the oldest son was Boner. I forget now Cameron's name on the show.
Yeah, I forget.
But I do remember the friend being Boner. So, Richard Boner, Dick Boner. So that kind of peered it out to nothing, in a sense.
It also kind of confirms that he was the missing person, that Jimmy Woo, who... It was the thing that bothered me the entire time, is like, why was an FBI agent stationed in San Francisco, in New Jersey, looking for a missing witness, a missing person that was in witness protection, and then they never resolved that plot line, and then he ended up being Ralph, who Agatha was talking about the whole time. It was kind of anticlimactic because I thought that maybe the reveal of Ralph would have been somebody else.
Yeah.
And also the reveal of the missing person would also be somebody else, maybe somebody important or somebody comic related, but it just wasn't.
Unless Richard Boner is an alias, because maybe he is the witness under witness protection, and that's why he had to file in his man cave, and that's why maybe Short didn't have to file up on the board of the rest of the residents.
It's one of the very few, but many. There's a few hanging plot threads from this episode. Yeah, in the series. Like we get into a moment when between the fight between Vision and White Vision. Don't mean to say it like that, but it's White Vision. We understand that. That's what we're calling him now. But anyway, so I like the back and forth between them, like in the actual fight, because we talked about this before, how Vision was criminally underused because with his powers, he has so many powers that he never was on full display, and he never really actually fought anybody who was on his level.
Because he can turn intangible, put his hand through your head, and turn it solid, and then
he could have stuck his hand up Thanos' butt and pulled his spine out.
Right. You know what I mean?
He never went ahead and did that, and I'm disappointed by that.
Yeah, there's not enough of these. I mean, shoot, man. He could have done that. He could have totally fatality.
So it ends up to where White Vision gets the upper hand and is about to get
take him
a
out.
chokehold type thing, and he's like, "Oh, my objective is to eliminate the Vision." And he's like, "But you are Vision. I'm not even really." I'm paraphrasing, of course. He pretty much says I'm not Vision. I'm just have his memories. I'm not him. I'm not even made from the same stuff he is. But you are. So what does that make you? And then they get to this whole philosophical back and forth. Well, if you're Vision, am I supposed to take you out? Maybe it's me. What are we supposed to do here?
They use the Theseus boat paradox, and I told you I grew up with it, being known as the grandfather axe paradox. And to simplify it, your grandfather gives you an axe. He hands it down to you. You use it over time, and you gotta replace the handle. So you go to the store, get a new handle, you put the blade back on it, You use it a while longer, the blade gets dull, then you have to replace the blade. Now you have a whole new axe with new parts. Is that the same axe that your grandfather gave you? And plus, to go into it further, if you take the broken pieces and build that axe, is that not the grandfather axe? Where is it end? And the only logical conclusion they came up with was that they are neither is Vision, but both are Vision.
Pretty much,
And
because they had the moment where it looked like, and this is one of the theories that a lot of people had, it's a very popular theory, that they would end up fusing them together to create a new
one
Vision,
yeah.
because that kind of happened in the comics where like
Yeah.
they put Wonder Man's consciousness into the White Vision body to give him humanity or whatever.
Right, to give him that base personality to have, like you said, to be able to have that connection of human,
to have that
human emotion, right?
And what ends up happening is you've seen it throughout the series where like Vision does the whole thing, and he gave White Vision all of his memories. He pretty much said like, oh, it's in the programming, like, you know, the memories are there, like you can't permanently delete them out of your system or whatever. So then Vision, White Vision, gets all of Vision's memories, and like, you know, the arc reactor looking thing on his head
on the top
kind of glows with the power of the Mind Stone, it looks like, and then he just flies off, never to be seen again. So that's a hanging plot thread of, will Vision return? ... But I feel like, and I said this too, but I just want to say this on camera, that I feel like now they can do a Vision solo, either series or movie, to where he's trying to find his humanity, because you know, he didn't want to be a weapon, he doesn't know what he is. That plays a part in the very end of the episode. We have to get back to that, but that can be the whole journey of like him discovering himself, I guess, and actually, you know,
and be the same Vision that we know, but with a new perspective on life, and kind of like the depths that people are willing to go for him because of love. And
we also failed to mention how creepy he looked. White Vision.
Oh my god. It was a totally different look from seeing him in the Status.
Yeah, with the Status tank, with the blue lights and everything, to him being in like daylight. It was just creepy. Yeah, it was extremely creepy, and like, if the Avengers were real in our reality and I seen the White Vision, I would be like, oh, kill it,
kill it, kill it with fire.
But
you know, but
gets into like back to the fight with Wanda and
back to the White with Wanda. They have this major showdown. Vision, the Hex Vision tries to get involved. But Wanda wants to do this on her own. The kids are there. Hayward tried to interfere with Sword. Wanda winds up doing the trick she learned in the basement from Agatha, and she did the runes,
so that the
spell in the Hex.
So that only one, whoever cast the spell, is the only one whose magic works within the confines of the area. Which is going to be the entire Westview. So like you see like these giant
it's like kind of
symbols within the sky. And
the runes, there are rune stones in the comics. I don't know if that's anything, or if it's just a separate thing.
Reference. Just a name for them.
So Wanda then sucks in all the energy, the magic energy that Agatha stole from her earlier.
Oh, because throughout the whole thing, we failed to mention this. It was actually a big thing. Agatha, her whole thing was she wanted to drain energy from other magic users that weren't deserving of it, or however she phrased it. And throughout the whole thing, you see Wanda getting older and older in appearance. Kind of like, she didn't look like how Old Man Cap looked, but like she looked like she was weathering away.
Older, yeah, she's
like weathering away.
Right.
And that also plays into. Yeah, her hands are getting black, but this also plays into throughout the entire series, where it goes to Agatha all alone. But so where every time she was around, and Vision even mentioned this, like she got loosey goosey with her powers more and more as Agatha was around.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole thing, she was siphoning her power. little by little.
Yeah.
And there's also like this. It's not really a theory. It's actually obvious. It's right there that every episode, when she says last episode on WandaVision, like she gets weaker and weaker.
Yeah,
and that's a little subtle thing that they put in there that I noticed. That's why, like when we were watching, I was like, oh, and I was like, I kept quiet because I was like, I have to say this. The whole time she was siphoning her energy to where, you know, and it just played out in the show. So it's really good detail.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
The devil is in the details.
The devil is in the details, and when when she becomes full Scarlet Witch, full final boss, final level, this is an example that I hope that the MCU can follow with the eventual entrance of the Phoenix. Because with how this the budget was, that you were able to focus on this one character or these couple of characters as opposed to a Civil War or
ensemble cast,
which is great. We all want to see the 10 guys fighting, but the budget, when it's narrowed down to one person,
one-on-one fight,
it looked great.
It was great. It was put together very well. It looked great. It looked like a Dragon Ball Z fight.
You did say that.
Who watches that
And so, you're a fan of that stuff.
Yes. And when she became the Scarlet Witch, it was like the equivalent of the moment when Goku first turned Super Saiyan. For anybody who watches Dragon Ball Z, like you would know exactly what I'm talking about. And her costume was just so gorgeous. Like it was the best MCU costume. Excuse me. In my opinion, the best MCU costume to date. And it looked just like Magneto's costume in like the first class series. Like it looked so much like that. It looked like the female version of that. It was so great.
Did. It looked spectacular, and we even mentioned how it looked so spectacular that Vision and Wanda are going to be the couple Halloween costume of the year.
If the world is back open
right, if the world is back open and we can have little Halloween parties and what have you, I'll bet you that couple's costume will be top.
In an alternate reality where, you know, the thing isn't going on, there's still Comic-Cons going on, and there's couples right now putting together their Wanda and Vision couple costumes for the cons.
They're already... This is, I think, going to be the best couple costume since Rick Grimes and Michonne from The Walking Dead when they first got together.
And how they do the Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen ones, like
I do.
I see a few of those ones, like the Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman.
I like those too.
Speaking of like other Marvel characters, and like you were mentioning this with the Phoenix thing, throughout the entire, since they had Wanda as a character, all of her powers reminded me of Jean Grey. And that's why I feel like if they didn't get the rights to the X-Men, I feel like they were going to go in that direction. And I feel like they still went ahead with it because the way that she became... The way that they're making Scarlet Witch is like kind of like the Phoenix Force. And I see what you're saying. They kind of maybe put this emotion in an event that maybe at the time they wasn't going to be sure if they was going to get the Fox. So they're like, they wanted something equivalent. Yes. And so this was the equivalent. And it looked so much better than the 2 attempts that Fox already made at the Phoenix Force. No offense about that. Femke Jensen did great. Sophia Turner did great. I think I liked the Femke Jenkins one better. It's just another tangent, but I just feel like those movies... just don't do the Phoenix. With subplots, that should be the entire plot. Nothing else going on but Phoenix. But anyway, building up to Phoenix. But another thing that happened too during their fight, she kind of did the creep up thing like she did in Age of Ultron, which I really thought from like a production standpoint, I'm like, that's a really weird shot. Why would they do that? But then when she did it in context, like not in context, but like in the fight against Agatha, I was like, that's a nice little callback right there. It doesn't make it as weird. She did little orange blowy woos, whatever they call it. Wiggly woos. It's more than pointing fingers and shooting wiggly woos. And they brought it back to the Salem. The Salem witch trials. And so. Yeah, that happened before the whole hex thing. Well, when she did the right. But she made the witches that were putting Agatha on trial, like to be burned or whatever, she made them turn on her, but then Agatha turned them on her, or vice versa, and it was just a really cool and creepy shot. So like, with them saying,
did really well with the
horror aesthetic.
Yeah.
So what them saying with like the multiverse of magic is going to be the multiverse of magic. I'm sorry, would be the first Marvel horror movie. I feel like with them, the way that they did it with this, I'd be okay with the PG Marvel horror movie with just like the elements, like with like stuff like that. It was generally creepy, but it wasn't like horror level creepy to where like it would scare kids.
Right, we're not talking Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything like that, but there was like some moments it's like, oh, okay, that was cool, but the way it was shot was so beautiful.
Right, like even if you think of back something along like The Frighteners or something like that with Michael J. Fox, if you ever seen that, that was a good horror movie where it was kind of a more mature horror movie, but it wasn't like you said the slasher and cut them up and
just more like the turning of heads and like them looking like zombies. It was cool. It was cool.
It was a good episode. It was a really good episode.
And then
Haywood got
gotta talk about our boy Woo.
Woo.
With him getting the phone, and I really thought
his magic came in.
Yeah, that too. But I really thought that like when he picked up the phone when he was handcuffed, I thought that like because the phone was ringing, I thought he like answered it, and like maybe he noticed that it was like somebody like important, like hearing like Hayward's whole nefarious plot, and then you find out after he uses the magic, gets the handcuffs, he calls somebody, he's like, hey, can you be here in an hour?
So Hayward captures Woo. Woo gets out with his little magic that he's been learning since Ant-Man. FBI comes, and in the meantime, Monica is trying to help out, but she again lets Wanda finish off the fight, and Wanda wins. Darcy helps keep Hayward around.
She finally shows up in that what was the circus mobile or whatever.
The sugar
she crashes into him.
Yeah, the sugar dough.
And she says, what she said, good luck going to jail. Or something like that.
Good luck going to jail because this bum tried to shoot kids and tried to shoot. Boom, boom, boom,
that's right. We have to talk about Monica too. Oh, yeah.
Monica?
When Hayward was shooting at her and the bullets were being deflected, because remember, her costume was technically bulletproof.
Yes.
Or like her body could absorb the energy, one or the other. One of them goes through somehow because she kind of like phases, I guess.
Yeah, she did some sort of weird yellow phasing thing.
I'm sure her powers will be explained going down the line because she, like I said, she's probably one of my favorite characters to come out of this show.
She was actually really excellent.
And I really see her going big places. Like
she's going to be around. I hope she's going to be around.
I hope she's around for a while. But I forget Billy or Tom. Which one is Wiccan? Magic power. He stops the bullets. Billy. He stops like one of the powers.
Bullet. Kind of does a matrix to it.
And it's so cool that like it's all their first time with their superhero stuff. Because remember, Wanda said, "Oh, I know this is your guys' first time doing this, but you were born for this."
Right.
And they're born for this moment to stop the bullet. It was also very Magneto-like.
Yes.
Because remember, Magneto would do the same thing, would stop the bullet with his hand, just like this. So that's a cool illusion.
Wanda in one episode turned the guns on the
just like Magneto did in the first X-Men movie.
So it runs in the family.
It runs in the family. Oh. Throughout the episode, her accent really did come and go.
Near the end, though,
It came and went a lot.
Because she's just so.
I really feel like Elizabeth Olsen does deserve like some type of award for this show. It deserves awards all across the board, from acting, directing, to visual effects.
It definitely does.
Everything.
It definitely does because it really shows the spectrum of mental health. And
it was handled in a way that, like, what happens if a superhero, somebody with powers,
has mental health. Welcome back. We're back to finish this wrap up. We're gonna pick up where the end of the battle happens between Agatha and Wanda. Wanda decides to, with all her ultimate power, basically trap Agatha as the nosy neighbor character that she's been known forever in Westview.
That's her punishment.
And no one in Westview will bother her, and she would just be viewed as
just a nosy neighbor, like a pretty much an NPC in a video game.
Yeah, and Wanda.
So that also kills all the theories that she's the character how she is in the comics, or where she's a confidant or whatever.
Right. She just is gonna stay there until Wanda needs her help.
Pretty much.
It's
open ended because she might. It's just like, all right, if we want to use her again, we can, but we might not because there's a lot going on.
Right. So then, Vision comes over. He kind of knows what has to happen. He says, "All right, guys, let's go back home."
They tuck the kids in their bed, give them the little goodnight kisses and all that.
She thanks them for choosing her as her mother.
Really cute, sentimental moment.
Yeah.
All the moms felt that.
For sure. And then you have Wanda and Hex Vision in the living room on the original plot that they were going to have.
Watching the entire Hex magic collapsing on itself, turning everything back to normal.
And that was it. She explained to Vision that he was a piece of her memories and emotions.
And also, big thing to mention, the first thing she said, when he said, "What am I?" She said, "You are a piece of the Mind Stone that was within me," meaning that she confirmed that the power of the Mind Stone is within her, as well as her power.
Exactly. So she's definitely an OP character at this moment.
She always has been.
And then we see her doing the little Eminem hoodie.
Oh, as she walks away, as the house goes back to the foundation. She kind of just puts her hood on and walks away, and I just felt like they should play "You Lose Yourself" in that moment because she walks away, and all the Westview people are like the who they are for real. We're just watching her walk away.
Right, and
she put her hood on, and it could have been an Eminem moment.
Yes.
And
her last conversation was with Monica about how she didn't really mean for all this to happen.
And she said, "Hey, I understand.
She would have been tempted herself." She said,
"Yeah, like if I could, I'd bring my mom back." Because she kind of asked her, like, "Hey, what do you want? I can get you something, whatever you want.
What you got? I'm Gateway."
Like, "Hey, I'm pretty much the genie. What do you want? One wish. Let's go. Let's do this." And she says, "Well, I want my mom back." She's like, "I can't bring people back to life without a controlled area. So I'll see you later.
How about a hot fudge sundae?"
Okay.
I gotta go.
Peace out. And then she flies off.
Yeah.
With her bum clothes on, but with the hood on, and then she transforms back into the Scarlet Witch costume with the hood on.
Yeah.
So now it seems that she can will the costume
at will.
At will.
And then we see finally Wu coming in with the FBI.
With the FBI, yes. And they're doing the whole debriefing on everybody. This comes into the post-credit scene because this is the end when she flies off, by the way, we should mention.
Yeah. Number one end credit scene. We see number 1 out of 2.
Number 1?
Number 1? One time.
Wyclef Jean.
One time. So we see Monica getting summoned to the local movie theater in Westview.
Because some kind of FBI agent. Obviously they're doing the debriefs in there because it's private. Maybe that's what I took from it.
And you can get your little snacks.
Yeah.
Whatever,
I guess. Some popcorn and debrief. Hey,
so what happened next?
So what happened next? All right, this is getting good.
Oh, word! She did that, girl?
If I would have did that, I would have smacked that, out of her. Trying to keep it PG.
So we, get to where the screen is, and we see the FBI agent turn into a Skrull. Dun dun dun!
Dun dun dun!
And Monica.
And she goes.
Monica obviously doesn't get.
She doesn't get flinched by it because obviously in Captain Marvel she knows about Skrulls. Like maybe she's seen them later on in life, like they were in and out, but we don't know that right now.
But she is familiar with the shape-shifting nature of them.
And she knows what they look like when they're true form.
So she says, what is this about? And she's like, someone is requesting your appearance.
Up here.
Up, and then, yep, she points up.
It's an old friend of your mother's.
And so we're assuming that Nick Fury...
Or Talos.
Or Talos is requesting her appearance on
the sword space shuttle that we've seen in the presumably the space shuttle that we've seen in Spider-Man Far From Home in the post-credit scene and credit scene.
So we're thinking maybe they're getting a select few up there, people to
monitor something else, or
you know, a debrief. So Nick Fury can get a debrief from her.
Yes, and he is clearly the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. And remember, Talos was acting as Nick Fury on Earth, so it probably is Nick Fury, but it's so cool because we get to see that, we already know Samuel L. Jackson's coming back. He's confirmed for Secret Invasion.
Yeah, so we know he's got some projects.
Possibly she could be coming back in the Secret Invasion series.
I could see that.
She's definitely confirmed for Captain Marvel 2.
And I like the twist that you think that the Secret Invasion is going to be the Krees doing the Secret Invasion instead of the Skrulls.
Because there are some Kree that look like regular humans, and maybe at some point they infiltrated the government, and they're
trying to use that for nefarious purposes.
Whatever reason.
Right. So that's going to set up for Monica for Secret Invasion and other projects.
She will return, guys. She will return. I'm sorry, young people.
Young people.
The young people.
Oh man, we had this conversation about young people.
Tangent.
With my boomer ways.
Boomer talk coming soon.
More talk coming soon. Boomer talk coming.
Anyway.
So, end credit number 2.
Dos.
Number 2. Two-time.
2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
Dos to us.
It's my birthday.
So Wanda's
Wanda
in kind of like a cottage out in like the mountains.
Now I'm wondering, she did grow up in Wundagore Mountains.
It could be Wundagore Mountains. I thought that too, because there's nothing that says that it isn't. Maybe she could have resided there now in isolation.
Right. It could be that instead of making that her birth country or whatever,
it could just be someplace that she resided in solitude to like.
Right. Or we see her outside drinking a cup of tea or something, because you hear the teapot going off. She's at this little cabin. She goes in to do her little tea business. But we also see then the camera panning to the back of the cabin, which in movie terms you're expecting to see somebody.
A big reveal.
Or a big
that
reveal.
Would have been, for all the conspiracy theorists out there, would have been Nightmare or Mephisto, but no. It's Wanda as Scarlet Witch, looking through the Darkhold in full costume.
And she's kind of doing a Doctor Strange type of thing, too.
Flipping through the book, learning everything.
And so, maybe the Wanda drinking tea is just a facade for people to leave her alone if they're looking down on her.
Maybe she's subconsciously, the Scarlet Witch persona is reading up on all the dark magic to she's astral projecting herself to learn the magic as she just goes about her day to day.
Yeah. And then you hear the kids yelling out for her.
Yes, and that's when
somewhere in the distance.
And that's when she,
and then there's a flash.
Springs into action, pretty much.
Right, there's a red flash. And then that's it. And
there's no Doctor Strange. Where is Doctor Strange?
Where is he?
He lives an hour away from New Jersey in the Sanctum Sanctorum. He could have drove there.
Bleecker Street, bro.
This whole thing was going on for a week.
He didn't even have to pay any tolls.
For a week. He could have easily portaled my way in, because Agatha was like, I felt a huge surge in magic. I had to go see what was going on.
So
you mean the Sorcerer Supreme did not be like, hey, what the hell's going on over here? Wanda, gotta cut this out. This isn't cool right now.
Yeah.
Even at the end with the whole Dragon Ball Z battle, you did not feel all that magic to think, hey, guys, what's going on here?
What are you doing?
Gotta throw my gang sign spells. something Sidorak. But that's my biggest disappointment.
Right.
Like I said, I think the show maybe is. I have 2 big disappointments about the show. One, I think episode 1 and 2 should have been 1 episode, and then when they premiered it, you could have got a 45-minute episode, and then you got this 3rd episode which leads into like more of what's going on, the more MCU stuff. So like the people would have been more invested in it because a lot of people said like, oh, it's trash because of those first 2 episodes. I feel like if we combined it to one, it would have worked.
Right. I see that because I can kind of see why people thought that the first couple episodes were a little. I think there's a few layers to this. Also, when I was growing up, on a quick boomer tangent, you had to wait every week
to watch another
episode, a new episode,
see what happens.
Something. So some of these episodes were going to be a little like, all right. Great.
But I feel like that's why they left the whole week empty with nothing in between. Because, there was a rumored 10th episode.
Yeah.
I feel like this, because in 2 weeks we're going to get the Falcon Winter Soldier show, which I really hope that we're going to cover.
We are definitely going to cover that.
But, so that week in between is going to be the binge week for the people that, like, wanted to just watch the show all together at once. Because there's those people that, like, complain about the week-to-week drops like they did with The Boys.
Yeah.
Which they drop 3 episodes, then every week it'd be another episode. I like the week to week. Same thing with like The Mandalorian. I like the week to week. The only thing is with the first 2 episodes, I felt like when I first watched, I'm like, all right, this is okay, because like I like Dick Van Dyke and Bewitched and I Dream a Dreamy, all that.
But that might not translate too well with some other people.
Yeah, not even just that. It's just like, do I see myself watching a show like this week to week? But then after the second part, the ending of the 3rd episode, I'm like, all right, now we're getting somewhere.
Definitely. At the end of the 3rd episode was where the energy and the stories start picking up.
And even not even just that, it's just the whole fact of like, you see where like it went from like a 1950s sitcom to this full-on battle, and you see like all these visual effects
crazy.
and this cool costumes and this philosophical conversation, all boiled into to 40 about roughly about 45 minutes.
And it can even speak on, could even be a subtext of even the evolution of television itself.
True.
When you look back on the 50s and the 60s, even me growing up in the 80s reading these comic books, I would have never thought in 2021 I would be able to see the fantastical battles that happen.
Something that I feel like what they would have did and the way that I viewed it is because it's already been known that this is going to lead into the Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. I
kind of felt like WandaVision, the way I viewed it, was like a prelude comic or like a spin-off that would lead into that movie. Yeah. That's another reason why I feel like Doctor Strange should have showed up at the end or something like that.
To kind of be aware, even if it was... I would have even been satisfied even if it was Wong, maybe, or something at the Sanctum.
Or even, like I said, Baron Mordo could have shown up and be like, hey, like, I want no more sorcerers. Like, you are more powerful than Sorcerer Supreme. Like, you can't exist. Right.
Some sort of...
Something. Give us some type of tie-in to it. Because, like, it feels like they're going in a direction, if you wanted to announce that it leads into that it was a tie-in comic. If you want to
You're right, you wanted some sort of connection to understand that this is also going to be now a Doctor Strange story on top of a Wanda story. Because I think the WandaVision story is over for now, and it's just going to be a Wanda story for the time being. But it's also turning into a Doctor Strange movie, a story, and however this is going to tie into Spider-Man.
Another thing too to look at is the fact of like what I said on the last episode that like I told you that it's possible that she could be the villain. Like that whole thing of her in the Darkhold, you don't know if like what's his name, Cthulhu or whatever his name is, the creator of the chaos magic is what's controlling her. Maybe they did a gender swap and like it's a female version, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, I can see that too. They left a lot of things open with this, and Doctor Strange ain't coming out until 2022.
And I really hope that theaters open back up. If not, like just throw it on Disney Plus, please. I want to see this.
Yeah. Enough with the holding back now.
Enough with the holding back. With the whole thing with Black Widow.
That's
I know it's another can of worms, but I just have to mention it. Why is it that you're holding off on it so long, if not for something big to be in that movie? There has to be some type of big reveal or revelation in that movie that you want to hold it off, that has to be experienced in theaters. I know money is involved, but come on. Like, I will be disappointed if I go out and see that movie and it doesn't... Not saying it's going to blow my mind. I know it's not going to. But I want it to be at least... Close.
If the end credit isn't fucking
like
Xavier
Wolverine or something,
or
like
Magneto,
Weapon X.
If it's not Xavier and Magneto giving each other back rubs or something,
you can even give me Maverick, like make mention of the Weapon X project, but that's I don't know. Something, bro. I don't know.
Something.
Just whatever. WandaVision was good.
WandaVision was good. If you haven't watched it, watch it.
You got a week to binge it before Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out, and that's gonna be the next. Big
series that you're going to be hearing this channel talk about.
And I just want to make mention that, like, my favorite MCU movie, go ahead and sue me, was Captain America Winter Soldier. And it feels like
that was good.
I like the hand-to-hand combat stuff.
I think that the action is definitely going to be more in this.
I really liked Anthony Mackie as Falcon, a.k.a. Papa Dot. You know, the connection when Wanda put the hood on.
And his real name is Clarence. And Clarence's parents have a real good marriage.
And, you know, I like Bucky. I think, like, there's a lot you can do with him.
There's a lot that you can do with this odd couple.
And we're excited for that one.
I'm definitely...
That one I was more excited for than WandaVision. WandaVision, of course, I had no expectations for. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even see a trailer. I didn't even watch the trailer to it.
I knew from back in the days of reading these stories that the potential, but I can understand.
My knowledge of comics knew, like, when Vision was there, I knew Vision and Wanda were a couple and stuff like that. So, like, I was like, oh, okay, like, what are they going to do with this?
But I can understand. I can listen. I'm with the action too, man. I love my Jean-Claude Van Damme's.
Don't get me wrong. I like what they did with it, but I wasn't excited for it.
Right.
When I watched it, I'll rank it, like I said, like about an 8 out of 10. There's little things that, like, I had my problems with. Nothing until where I'm gonna go on a rant about.
Right. Nitpicks for me, the same, like, nitpicks, but
there's small plot holes, like, with, like, everybody knowing the events of Endgame, but not being there. They were dusted, but somehow within 5 days of returning back to life, you knew the details of, like, oh, well, Wanda could have beat Thanos
and
like
Captain Marvel did this.
Yeah, like, you weren't there.
Right.
Come on, shut up.
And I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of a little mad that Haywood wasn't. He was just an asshole.
I feel like they're leading into him being a part of possibly the Sentinel program, or maybe being tied to Stryker.
I like that.
He always reminded me of Stryker from the X-Men movies.
Yes.
And I feel like White Vision might have been the early stages of, like, either Nimrod or the Sentinels.
I like that theory. I wouldn't mind that.
The only flaw to White Vision was the fact that he had to take out himself. Technically, that's when it gets to the philosophical thing, and then gets the memories. So you eliminate the humanity, you pretty much get a Sentinel and have it that they can chase down anybody with powers. Yes.
Right.
Even though he knew, like, when he saw Wanda, he's like, oh, Wanda. He had no memories, but he knew who Wanda was, and he knew he had to take her out.
And he was
going to squeeze her skull. Like, we heard it cracking.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even expect to see that in a Marvel property.
Yeah, that was because that was a little dark to be.
That was dark. They never did that in any other thing. Like, you heard the crunching. Yeah. That was hardcore.
Yeah, that was hardcore. Like, he was gonna try to bust her open.
Like he was gonna crack her skull, like a breakfast club style.
Yeah.
I have to come back in and crack her skulls.
Don't mess with the boy, young man.
Mess with the boy, get the horns.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Retro blast confirmed.
Breakfast Club, baby. Breakfast Club, baby. Oh my God! But that was WandaVision. I'm glad that you guys stuck by the journey. Thank you for stopping by.
Great.
We're gonna be doing Winter Soldier in a few weeks, so be aware of that. Do all that beautiful YouTube stuff, man. Like, subscribe. It's not without you guys. You guys are the fucking people in control. Let's grow this channel, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are tonight's entertainment.
We have 2 bombs set up at the children's hospital and the police station. Which one do you value? Batman has 24 hours to give me $5 billion and reveal himself.
And a fish taco.
Fish tacos are plus.